recently graduated from my dream university with excellent grades. My parents hosted a graduation party for me earlier this week. The party was going great until my sil Melanie, 28F, decided to ruin everything by spreading nasty rumors about me. For some background, Melanie is married to my older brother Sean, 29M. They got married 4 years ago, and since then, our family dynamics have completely changed. Melanie and I never got along. She's extremely jealous and attention-seeking. She can't stand when anyone else gets attention, especially me. When I got accepted into this university 3 years ago, my parents were overjoyed because it was my dream school. They threw a small celebration party then. During that party, Melanie suddenly announced that she and Sean were trying for a baby. She couldn't let me have 1 day of attention. My parents were happy about their news too, but they could see what Melanie was trying to do. Throughout these years, whenever there was any celebration for me, my birthday, my academic achievements, anything, Melanie would always try to steal the spotlight. She would either create drama or make some announcement. Once during my birthday dinner, she started crying because she still wasn't pregnant. Another time when I got Dean's List, she announced they were going to start IVF. She always had to make everything about herself. During my university years, I worked incredibly hard. I wasn't a brilliant student in high school, just average. But in university, I was determined to excel. I spent countless nights studying, doing research, and working on projects. My senior professor, Mr. Briggs, was extremely supportive throughout this journey. Mr. Briggs is one of the most respected professors in our department. He's been teaching for 15 years and has helped many students achieve their goals. He's happily married with 2 kids, and his wife often visits the campus for various events. He became my mentor and thesis advisor. He guided me through tough academic times and helped me understand complex topics. Our relationship was purely professional and mentor-like. At my graduation party yesterday, everything was going well initially. My parents had invited our relatives, family friends, and some of my college friends. They had arranged everything beautifully, good food, nice decorations, and a small ceremony where they wanted to give a speech about my journey. About an hour into the party, my aunt pulled me aside. She looked worried and told me that Melanie had been going around telling several female guests that I only got good grades because I was having an affair with Mr. Briggs. My aunt said Melanie had been spreading this rumor for the past hour, telling everyone how I'd visit his office frequently and stay late. I was shocked and disgusted. Yes, I visited his office often, but that's because he was my thesis advisor. Many other students did the same. I stayed late because I was working on important research projects. We had strict deadlines, and sometimes work would stretch late into the evening. But Melanie twisted everything to make it seem inappropriate. My aunt told me that Melanie had been very detailed in her gossip. She told people how I dress up nicely when going to university. I always dress properly, it's called being professional. She mentioned how I'd talk about Mr. Briggs and his guidance, because he was my mentor and helped me a lot. She even brought up how my grades improved dramatically in university compared to high school, because I actually worked hard. I immediately told my parents. They were livid. My mom confronted Melanie right there, asking her how dare she spread such lies about her daughter. Melanie tried to act innocent at first, saying she was just concerned about my reputation and was only sharing her observations. When my mom pressed further, Melanie said it was suspicious how much time I spent with Mr. Briggs and how my grades improved so much. I couldn't take it anymore. This was supposed to be my day, celebrating my hard work and achievements. Instead, it turned into a gossip fest about my character. I had worked incredibly hard these past years, spending countless nights studying, doing research, writing papers. My improved grades were a result of my dedication and hard work. Mr. Briggs had been nothing but professional and helpful, not just to me but to many other students. I grabbed my things and left the party. My parents understood why I left and supported my decision. Later that night, several relatives called to tell me they didn't believe Melanie's lies. They knew my character and how hard I had worked. They had seen my dedication over the years. Some family members suggested I should file a complaint against Melanie for defamation since this could affect both my and Mr. Briggs' reputation. His wife works at the same university in a different department, and such rumors could cause problems for his family too. But I decided to wait and see how my parents handled this situation with my brother first. This wasn't the first time Melanie had tried to ruin things for me, but it was definitely the worst. She crossed all limits this time. I'm done pretending everything is fine just for family peace. I don't want to be around her anymore. She's toxic and manipulative. I feel bad for my brother though. He's caught between his wife and his family. But at this point, I don't care anymore. If he chooses to support his wife after what she did, then maybe I'm better off without both of them in my life. Update 1. After the party disaster, my parents finally decided to talk to Sean about Melanie's behavior. They called him over when Melanie was at work, hoping to have a calm discussion about what happened at my graduation party. They explained everything to him: how Melanie had gone around spreading malicious rumors about me having an affair with Mr. Briggs, how she had tried to tarnish both my and my professor's reputation, and how she had ruined what was supposed to be a celebration of my achievements. But Sean's reaction left us all stunned. Instead of understanding how wrong Melanie was, he actually defended her actions. He said Melanie had valid reasons to be suspicious. He brought up things I never expected my own brother to use against me: how I'd often mention Mr. Briggs in conversations, how I'd stay late at university, and how my grades had improved significantly compared to high school. I was speechless. My brother, who had seen me study late into the night, who had witnessed my dedication, was now suggesting that I had earned my grades through inappropriate means. My parents were shocked too. Mom tried explaining to him that I had worked really hard to improve my grades, that Mr. Briggs was just a supportive professor who helped many students excel. But Sean wouldn't listen. He said Melanie was just looking out for the family's reputation. According to him, people had been talking about how much time I spent with Mr. Briggs, and Melanie was just voicing what others were thinking. He even had the audacity to suggest that maybe I should have been more careful about spending so much time with a male professor, that it didn't look good for a young female student to be in a male professor's office so often. This made my blood boil. Was I supposed to refuse guidance from a professor just because he was male? Should I have limited my academic growth because of what people might think? The whole conversation was becoming increasingly frustrating. Dad tried reasoning with him, reminding him how proudly he used to talk about my achievements before he married Melanie. He asked Sean if he truly believed his own sister would do something like this. Sean's response was that people change in college, and maybe I had changed too. Mom started crying at this point. She said she couldn't believe her son would think so low of his sister. She reminded him how Mr. Briggs had helped many other students over the years, how his wife was also a professor at the same university, how respected he was in academic circles. But Sean dismissed all this, saying where there's smoke, there's fire. The final straw was when Sean said that if I was innocent, I wouldn't have left the party. According to him, my leaving proved that Melanie's suspicions were right. He completely ignored the fact that I left because I was hurt and humiliated by his wife's baseless accusations. Dad finally lost his patience. He told Sean that he was disappointed in him. He said Sean had changed since marrying Melanie, and not for the better. He asked Sean to leave and not contact us until he and Melanie were ready to apologize. Sean left, but not before saying we were all being unfair to Melanie. He brought up how Melanie was already dealing with the stress of not being able to conceive, and now we were attacking her for caring about the family's reputation. He said we always favored me over him and Melanie, and this situation proved it. After he left, Mom broke down completely. She kept saying she had failed as a mother because her son could think such horrible things about his sister. Dad tried consoling her, saying it was Melanie's influence that had changed Sean. Several relatives called over the next few days after hearing about this confrontation. Even our grandparents, who usually stay neutral in family conflicts, called to say they were disappointed in Sean's behavior. They said they had seen how hard I worked in university, and they couldn't believe Sean would believe such nonsense about his own sister. I feel like I've lost my brother. Before he married Melanie, we used to be close. He was always protective of me, always proud of my achievements. But Melanie has completely changed him. She's turned him against his own family with her manipulative behavior. Some family members suggested that maybe Melanie was acting this way because of her inability to conceive. They said the stress might be affecting her mental health. But that's no excuse for trying to ruin someone's reputation. Many people struggle with fertility issues, but they don't go around spreading malicious rumors about others. For now, we've decided to maintain our distance from both Sean and Melanie. It hurts to lose my brother like this, but I can't have people in my life who don't trust me and try to damage my reputation. My parents support my decision, though I know it breaks their heart to be estranged from their son. Update 2 days ago, something happened that none of us expected. Melanie invited the entire family for dinner at their place. She called everyone personally, insisting it was really important. Even though things had been tense since my graduation party incident, and we hadn't spoken to them in 2 months, Mom and Dad decided to go because Melanie sounded genuinely excited. I wasn't going to go initially, but my parents convinced me. They said maybe Sean and Melanie wanted to apologize for everything. I doubted it, but I went anyway to support my parents. Our aunts, uncles, and grandparents were also invited. When we arrived, Melanie had prepared a big dinner. She was acting unusually nice to everyone, even me. She had decorated the house with balloons and there was a cake on the table. Everyone was confused about what the occasion was. After dinner, Melanie asked everyone to gather in the living room. She was practically glowing with excitement. She announced that she was finally pregnant after trying for 4 years. She expected everyone to be happy and start congratulating her. But instead of celebrating, Sean stood up, looking furious. His face was red with anger. He said it was impossible for her to be pregnant with his child. The room went completely silent. Everyone was confused, including Melanie. Then Sean dropped the bomb. He had gotten tested last week and found out he was sterile. The doctor had confirmed that he could never father children. He explained that after 4 years of trying unsuccessfully, he had started to suspect something might be wrong with him. So without telling Melanie, he had gone to a fertility clinic and gotten tested. Melanie went pale. She started stammering, trying to say there must be some mistake with the test results. But Sean cut her off. He asked her directly who the father was. At first, Melanie tried denying everything, saying the doctors must have made a mistake. But when Sean mentioned he had gotten tested at 3 different clinics to be absolutely sure, she broke down. Through her tears, Melanie finally confessed she had been having an affair with her best friend Sarah's husband, Tom, for the past 6 months. Everyone was shocked. Sarah, who was also at the dinner, let out a scream and had to be held back by her brother. The irony wasn't lost on anyone. This was the same Melanie who had accused me of having an affair with my professor. The same Melanie who had acted so righteous and proper. The same person who had made my brother doubt his own sister's character was actually the one having an affair. Sean asked everyone to leave because he needed to talk to Melanie alone. As we were leaving, we could hear Melanie crying and begging Sean to forgive her, saying she never meant for this to happen. Sarah was being taken home by her family. She was in no condition to drive after learning about her husband's betrayal. I feel terrible for my brother. Yes, he hurt me by believing Melanie's lies about me and Mr. Briggs, but he didn't deserve this kind of betrayal. Mom wanted to stay back and talk to him, but Dad said Sean needed space right now to process everything. Later that night, Sean called our parents. He was crying and apologizing for not believing them about Melanie. He said he had been blind to her true nature all these years. He also wanted to apologize to me, but I told our parents I wasn't ready to talk to him yet. The wound from his betrayal was still fresh. This whole situation has affected everyone in the family. Our grandparents are devastated. They had been so excited about their first great-grandchild. Sarah's family is in chaos. And Sean? Well, he's discovering that his entire marriage was built on lies. I know I should feel some satisfaction that Melanie's true nature has been exposed, but mostly I just feel sad. Sad for my brother, sad for Sarah, sad for how this whole situation has torn apart multiple families. But I can't help thinking that maybe if Sean had seen Melanie's true nature earlier, when she was spreading lies about me, things might have been different. Update 3: Sean and Melanie's divorce was finalized last week. The proceedings went quickly since they had no children together and Melanie didn't contest anything. She tried contacting our family several times during these months, saying she was sorry for everything, including spreading rumors about me. But none of us wanted anything to do with her anymore. Sean moved back in with our parents temporarily. He's still struggling to deal with Melanie's betrayal. He's been going through a really tough time, especially after finding out that Melanie had been lying about other things too. Apparently, she had been taking money from their joint account to help Tom with his expenses. He tried to apologize to me multiple times, saying he should have believed in his sister instead of his lying wife. But I'm not ready to forgive him yet. Each time he tries to talk to me, I remember how quickly he chose to believe the worst about me. How he suggested that I had earned my grades through inappropriate means. The other day, when I was at our parents' house, Sean broke down completely. He told me how Melanie had always been jealous of my achievements. From the day I got into university, she would complain to him about how our parents favored me. She would twist every situation to make it seem like I was getting special treatment. She had manipulated him so gradually that he hadn't even realized when he started doubting his own sister. Sarah, Melanie's best friend, divorced Tom after finding out about the affair. The baby was indeed Tom's, as confirmed by a paternity test. Both Tom and Melanie lost their jobs when their affair became public knowledge at their workplace. They had been having inappropriate encounters in the office. Melanie tried to reach out to Sarah too, but Sarah refused to speak with her. They had been best friends since college and Melanie betrayed her in the worst possible way. Sarah moved to a different city to start fresh. I still can't believe how karma worked. The same person who tried to ruin my reputation by spreading fake rumors about an affair was actually having a real affair herself. The same woman who accused me of impropriety with my professor was sneaking around with her best friend's husband. Sean keeps trying to rebuild our relationship. He comes to my apartment with my favorite food, sends me messages remembering our childhood memories, and tries to talk about how sorry he is. But I need more time. He chose to believe his wife's lies instead of trusting his sister who he had known his entire life. That hurt me deeply. Our parents understand and aren't pushing me to forgive him immediately. For now, I'm focusing on my career. I recently got a great job offer, partly thanks to Mr. Briggs' recommendation letter. When I told him about what happened at my graduation party, he was understanding and said such baseless accusations are unfortunately common in academia. His support throughout this whole ordeal meant a lot. Some family members think I should forgive Sean since he's already suffering from Melanie's betrayal. But betrayal from a spouse and betrayal from a sibling are two different things. Maybe someday I'll be ready to have a relationship with my brother again, but right now, I just can't trust him. Life has a way of revealing people's true colors eventually, and I'm in no hurry to rush the healing process.